Kaushal is among 20 interns who work at a state run urban health center in Gujarat. And for the last few months, most nights at the hospital have looked somewhat alike for them. Check patients' vitals, assess injuries, record observations, and offer treatment. From patients with first degree burns to factory workers with severed thumbs, Kaushal and his fellow interns have seen a lot. And that too on only a few hours of sleep and no pay. You heard that right. None of these medical interns are getting paid any money by the government. And you will never guess why. Turns out, they all got their primary medical degree from outside India. And the system here is just not built to accommodate them.
If you look at the proportion of students who are taking the exam, I think recently, 21 lakh students wrote the NEET exam, something around that mark. And there are 1.17 lakh seats, medical seats in the country. So it's not enough. There are not enough seats to incorporate all the students. So unless the medical seats go up dramatically, then there is nothing you can do. Students. So the issue is that students have two options. One is either go abroad and take degrees from these countries where it's fairly cheap and easy to get into, or they need to repeat and in the hopes that they can clear the exam.
That was Atul Krishna from the Ken. He's been reporting on education and edtech for 6 years, and this story had been on his radar for a while. Now, according to government estimates, about 25,000 students fly out to Russia, Ukraine, China, Georgia, and Uzbekistan for their medical degree. But the hurdles only really begin after they complete the 6-year course and come back here. If you think foreign trained doctors who return to India have some kind of an advantage compared to the rest, it is in fact the opposite. These freshly minted medical professionals do not have it easy in their home country. Their degrees are often not recognized here. So, when they come back, they are faced with screening tests with high failure rates and tedious registration procedures. The odds are really stacked against them. So, for the last few years, the body that regulates medical education in India, the National Medical Commission or NMC, has been trying to fix this. In 2021, it asked states to provide graduates with extra internship seats and pay them stipends on par with the graduates from India. This July, the Commission even proposed that foreign universities pay $10,000 each for every course they want India to recognize. But NMC can only do so much. The ball is ultimately in the State Medical Council's court. The thing is, it's not that the country doesn't want these doctors. It actually needs them, badly. We barely have one doctor for every 1,300 people. So, Kaushal and his peers should be invaluable, right? Unfortunately, though, as invaluable as they may be, the Indian medical system still prioritizes India-trained doctors. And that ends up leaving the likes of Kaushal in a rather precarious position. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your new host, Rachel Verghese, and every day of the week, my co-host Snigdha Sharma and I will bring you one news story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of September. So, the thing is, the number of medical seats in India has actually been on the rise. In 2016, our medical colleges could accommodate only about 65,000 students. But over the last decade, that number has thankfully doubled. Unfortunately, though, it seems like this increase is not quite enough, because the number of students taking the NEET or the National Eligibility Entrance Test is far higher. Out of the 21 lakh students that appeared for the exam this year, over half of them scored the qualifying marks. So, like Atul mentioned earlier, if you're one of the students who doesn't end up with a seat, you have two choices: retake the exam or seek a degree abroad. And it seems like a degree abroad has lately become the popular option. Take the case of a student from Kerala, for instance. She had secured the qualifying marks in NEET, but unfortunately, it wasn't good enough to get her a seat in India. And that is when a relative told her about Ukraine. She could go there and finish her MBBS degree. So she went for it. And just when she was close to the finish line, in her 4th year, the Russia-Ukraine war hit. That was in early 2022. She had no choice but to return to India and take a semester online. Not long after, she had to return to the university, and this time, because of poor flight connectivity, her travel included having to cross the Polish border in the west. When she finally returned to India after the hard won degree, she realized an uncomfortable truth. Studying in a war zone felt easier compared to getting registered as a doctor in India, especially if you'd been trained abroad. You see, unlike MBBS graduates in India, foreign medical graduates can't just return and start practicing medicine. They need to clear the Foreign Medical Graduate Examination or FMGE first.
This exam is very sort of notorious for its pass percentage, where historically very few people pass the exam. Statistics was also quite remarkable in a way where, like, if you take the NEET exam, the pass percentage is something above 50%, which makes sense. But for this, it is quite low. Like, they only recently was the pass percentage near 30%. Before that, it was even below 20% as well.
What's worse is that several students didn't even know that they had to give this test. In 2016, only 5,000 students took the test. Thankfully, though, ever since, more and more students are taking the FMGE. By 2024, the number of test takers had gone up to 45,000. And of course, more students taking the test meant that the number of students passing the test also went up. Now, one of the reasons for this is also because formal coaching for the exam has slowly become normalized in India. But if you think it's all smooth sailing post this extremely difficult exam, well, you're wrong. When a student passes this test, they have to get themselves registered provisionally at their regional medical council, and only then does the unpaid internship begin. And only after that do they get a permanent registration, post which they can start practicing medicine. The same rules hold if they want to apply for postgraduate studies. Kaushal, who we spoke about earlier, finished his graduation from Penza State University in Russia in 2022 and had to wait a couple of years to get permanent registration. And the Kerala student who studied in Russia, well, she cleared the screening test in 2024 and is still waiting for her provisional registration. Before her, her seniors had to wait for at least a year to get the same. This slow registration process isn't where it ends. We spoke to Apur Dalvi, national convener of the foreign wing of All India Medical Students Association. He told us that in states which have fewer medical seats like Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Delhi, getting internships is super challenging, even after clearing the FMGE. Now, the wing acts as an intermediary between authorities and Indian students pursuing medical education abroad. So, what's being done to address the seat shortage? Well, the NMC in late 2021 asked states to provide nearly 8% more internship seats in medical colleges along with their existing ones. But the issue of money still remains. If you're spending several lakhs on your education, you would expect to get paid for your practice, internship or not. Turns out, stipends are scarce, if not entirely non existent. In Kaushal's case, without stipends, he has been accruing interest on the 15 lakh rupees education loan he had taken. To make things worse, some medical colleges even ask foreign medical graduates to pay an internship fee to accommodate them. A foreign graduate claimed that instead of the hospital paying students, the students are asked to pay anywhere between 20,000 rupees and 1 lakh rupees to allow them to intern. The situation was so bad that in 2022, NMC put out a circular prohibiting this internship fee. Some states, such as Karnataka, are quite quick in providing the provisional registration. Foreign graduates typically get it within a month of passing the FMGE. But other states like Maharashtra take anywhere between 6 months to over a year. More on this in the next segment. Alifia, another MBBS graduate, found out the hard way just how long it takes to get provisional registration in Maharashtra. She had cleared the test in 2022 and then had to wait for almost a year before the registration was provided. Even after the wait, another roadblock came up. After registering provisionally, Alifia was allotted a non teaching institution that did not have 2 of the 9 departments necessary to complete her compulsory 1 year internship.
So what happened with this student is that she got allotted to a place where they didn't have two of the necessary departments, one of which was the compulsory rural work that they have to do. So then she had to do that separately. And the reason why this was allocated is because when FMG students are given internships, they're not given the priority because the government's priority would be the students that have studied in government colleges and in like colleges in India. So that's probably why the allocation happened in that sense. And this is a common story where FMG students get internships in places where it's not ideal. Even if it's ideal, probably the hospitals treat like they don't need them there. So they already have to do an internship abroad. That is necessary. So they in most countries they have a 6-year degree, and it involves at least 1 year of compulsory internship. The government deems it not satisfactory because of how they view the quality of education in these countries. So that's why even if a student completes 6 years, including internship, they have to come to India, clear the FMG exam, and then do 1 year of internship again.
The thing is, some state councils argue that the delay in providing provisional registration is because they are following the due procedure. A member of the Kerala State Medical Council told us that they have to check whether the graduate certificates are genuine. For that, they need to check with the university abroad and the embassy. And when they do that for more than 1,000 students, like they had to in Kerala this year, naturally the wait gets longer. The member added that sometimes the universities don't respond, and it delays the process. But when you're trying to do it faster, it is assumed that you're not following due procedure. Then there are other factors that these councils have to consider. For instance, many students faced academic delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the war, like the Kerala student. In this situation, the councils had to check their passport details and see if the students were in India when they were supposed to have been undergoing the internship. But even with these stipulations, there are ways to screen students faster. A member from the Karnataka Medical Council told us that if they have already reviewed a university the previous year, they can just go by that list. They don't have to go through the review process again. The process is expected to get even simpler soon. The NMC in 2021 directed that the students pursuing their medical degree abroad should register themselves as doctors in that country before they return to India. This makes the lives of the medical councils much easier. Essentially, if a student is recognized by the country where they studied, the state councils in India need to only verify if the university follows NMC stipulations. Delayed registrations may be fixable, but fixing the problem of unpaid internships could help doctors like Kaushal, and that in turn could really help fix India's shortage of doctors.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription offers daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and a whole bunch of premium podcasts. To subscribe, head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the Ken website. Today's episode was hosted and produced by my colleague Rachel Varghese and edited by Rajiv Sien.